I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
This is Matt once again. We're about to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Guillermo. Very generous guy. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a film called Horror in the High Desert that came out, I guess 2021, I guess this year. And if that's the case, I can add another movie to this year that I enjoyed. Just like, did this come out this year? And I want to double check on that. I was pretty damn certain when I sat down, but now I do screw up a lot. But this is a film that was for free on Tubi TV, and yes, I have shorts on because it's too damn hot here in Texas, which is funny because sometimes it'll be, you know, cold or rainy or monsoon, and sometimes it'll be hot as the desert. But Horror in the High Desert is a fake documentary about a man who would go out and hike. He would do these vlogs, but then ultimately went missing. But I thought this was done fairly well. To me, while I would not put it up with, say, The Tunnel, which I enjoyed, I thought this was a rather well done, slow burn mystery. I liked the way it was made. It has really beautiful shots. I gotta commend the director, and I want to get his name. I thought really beautiful shots of the desert landscape, with the clouds dissipating and these lush landscapes of the location they shot in. Looks beautiful. And then there are certain shots where they have lightning striking, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot better looking movie than I thought it would be. Which plays into the fact of trying to be a documentary. And a lot more believable than fucking Demon House, which I reviewed recently. Which says it's a documentary. At least this doesn't do that. It knows first and foremost it's a movie. Dutch Marich, director, screenplay, and producer. Sorry if I said that last name wrong. March 2021. The plot of the film is pretty simple. Like I said, this outdoor enthusiast, he went into the Nevada landscape, he disappeared. And what I mean by documentary, it's interviews with his roommate, this reporter, the guy's sister. They're telling a bit of his story. He liked to hike. You get a bit of these characters' backstory. And that's what I liked about this film, is it does a nice job establishing the story around these characters, building up who they are, get me to understand or care or be intrigued by who these people are. The sister had resentment for the brother after his parents' death. The roommate Maybe there's some friction between him and the guy. This is like one of those things that you would see on a true crime channel, if that makes sense. And about how this guy, he liked to hike and he liked to make videos, and no one in his area knew that he made videos, which I find that very understandable and in a way relatable. And then the guy disappeared. And it's a slow burn where these pieces, they start to slowly unravel. The guy's missing. The roommate doesn't know where he went because the guy didn't tell him. The sister's like, well, why don't you know? And the roommate's like, well, why don't you know? You're his sister. And the interviews and the way it's done help. It's not wall-to-wall footage. It's not the Blair Witch Project, which I love. This is like a better version of Curse of the Blair Witch. As much as I love the 1999 Blair Witch Project, I never cared for the Sci-Fi Channel special Curse of the Blair Witch. To me, this is a much better version of that. Like I said, it's some gorgeous cinematography, shots of the landscape, which work well when you go from one interview to the other. It's a short film. It's only an hour and 20-some minutes. And like I said, it does a nice job of doing a slow burn, of unraveling the story. There's a truck. Wait a minute, that's weird. That doesn't seem like a place he would usually park. The environment, the way, it doesn't make sense. Wait, there's fingerprints on top of the guys that no one can identify. Wait, there's footprints, but there's footprints that are barefoot. Why are there footprints on the truck that are barefoot? And that's what I mean. It slowly, the story slowly evolves. And like I said, it did that effectively because it doesn't go for cheap scares. It doesn't go for cheap jump scares. There's not really anything logically that goes off the beaten path that you go, what the fuck, and loses you and loses your intentions. You know, a private investigator is hired. There's also an FAA licensed drone pilot, which seems like a job my friend Effrey would love. Like, to be an FAA licensed drone pilot, to do a remote control on the drone, and you have an actual jacket, FAA. I mean, my friend Effrey should try to go out for that job. And like I said, this was done also during the pandemic. So the limited usage of what you can and can't do, who you can and can't talk about, without having the budget to be like, yeah, we could have all these safety precautions, all that jazz. To be able to do that in the environment it was in, the resources it could do, again, because of the pandemic, and let's release a film that kept me interested, kept me involved in the scene. What's going to happen next? Where is this leading up to? In other words, a good mystery. One thing I was a bit scratching my head about, this seems like added after the fact, but I don't know. The private investigator has one scene where he's sitting in a car by himself and he says, well, there's another suspect because apparently we found out that, well, I forget the lead guy's name who's missing. He's gay. And, you know, they want to be hush-hush. That's why the one guy didn't want to be, he didn't want me to talk to him, all this stuff. I'm like, if you don't talk to me, you don't talk to a cop. You last saw this guy, and they had a gay relationship. And then it's dropped, and then that's never brought up again. I went, why is this in the movie? Not because, oh, gay. I don't give a shit if someone's gay or not. If you're not hurting anybody, who gives a shit? Never understood that. If you're not hurting anybody, then it's fine. No worries. I'm just saying within the story, if you bring that up, that seems like something that's going to come into play somehow, some way, some shape, some form in terms of drama or in terms of more development that someone finds out, and does their opinion of this person change, or is it the same based on it? Prejudice? prejudice, does that come into play? I almost said foreplay. That's a different foreplay. Does it come? No, nothing comes of it. It's never brought up again. It's never thought of again. We never see that person. Not even like a shadow interviewed, but change the voice. Nothing. It's just one scene with a. It just seemed out of the blue, and having this flow, and then stopped dead in its track for like 2-3 minutes, then it went again. I'm like I said, if that was brought up before and after, or if he brought up after and that didn't mean anything. It was like the story point brought up, thought about, and then completely dropped, and never mentioned again. If the scene was, well, he had a dad, but, no, the parents were killed. Well, there was this one guy where at one point he was a former stepdad, because his mom had this and this, but then we talked to the stepdad, and he didn't say anything. It's like, you bring up something, and then you never bring it up again. I didn't, that's why I'm saying it felt like something done after the fact. That seems like the scene that could be edited quickly out, keep the flow of the pacing, and it's never brought up again. That's more of my things, like, it led to nowhere. So why is it in there? I'm going to go into spoilers. But like I said, I do think this is an interesting film. I think it's a film that's up there with... there's films I would put above it, because I actually have made a list of at least 100 found footage or POV or mockumentary, fake documentary movies I've seen. Up there would be The Blair Witch Project, 1999, Searching with John Cho, The Tunnel, As Above, So Below. If you're talking about POV movies, Hardcore Henry and Exist I liked, Butterfly Kisses I liked, Savage Land I liked, Digging Up the Marrow I liked, Cloverfield, Population Zero, more. This would be up there somewhere. I don't know where it would be, but yeah, I liked this film. No, sorry, now I'm thinking, like, where would I put this? Like I said, it did well in its simplicity. That's what I liked about it. I would say... I have to think about it for a bit. But the end of the spoilers... His family roommates didn't know that he did a blog, and he had like 50,000 subscribers, and they're kind of like, wow, I never knew about that, and what does that say about me? One of his posts that we don't see much of, and they get to why we don't see much of, but they describe it, and in a way describing it seems more effective than if we actually saw the post. And then about how at one point he had gone to this cabin and he saw this weird stuff, small bear prints outside of his tent. And then when he did a video on it, people said, "You're full of shit. Fuck you. What are you doing?" And then pretty much how you get the idea, he was cyberbullied into going back to that place again, which then led to his death. So then part of me is like, is this movie trying to showcase about cyberbullying kind of led to his death in a way? I'd be like, fuck the peer pressure. Tell him to fuck off. Listen, I love you guys. I love you guys out there watching. But if I went out into the woods and I saw some creepy fucking cabin with probably a creepy fucking guy who was crazy enough to leave bare footprints outside my tent, and then I made a video, and you said, "Fuck you, Matt, you lied," I'd be like, oh well, tough titty. I ain't going back out there to film the shit. I'd be like, tough shit. You just sucked my red rocket. I love you guys, but I ain't gonna die for you. But seriously, it's like, then tell them to go fuck themselves. I wish there was someone that said that. I wish there was, whether the roommate said, you know, he should have told them to go fuck themselves or something, you know. But the sister goes into, you know, she felt sorry in those comments about how they kind of pushed him into. On the flip side, he did make his own choice. And yes, cyberbullying is a real thing. At the end of the day, though, you have to also make your own choice and more accountability. And there's always a thing of just shut the computer off and you have another world. But that is a thing that does happen. The sister character I began to really dislike because of even the private investigators saying she's getting in our way, she's screwing things up. She accidentally deletes one of the fucking videos that her brother had. And yeah, she felt sorry for it, and the actress did a good job. It's not the actress's fault. But it's like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? But I think that's the reaction we're supposed to get. The reaction we're supposed to get. So the movie delivered on what it was trying to do. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? And then, again, the spoilers, he did the final blog about how he's going to go up there and shut the haters up. But he didn't say it that way because he seemed like a nice guy. And then he disappears, and then months and months later, his backpack is found, just hanging somewhere in someone else's camp, placed in it, and there's a severed hand with a camera. And yes, of course, there's footage in it. And because I think the movie did an effective job doing this slow build-up of this, where good-looking cinematography, good-looking, there's a phrase I'm thinking of, exterior shots. The actors did their jobs well. Again, sometimes there's certain bits I'm like, is that really needed? Just little things that interrupt the flow. I would like to have heard a bit more from the roommate in the third act. Whether if he... I don't know if he ever did see the footage. Or I don't know, just a little bit more from him in the third act, I guess. It does go into the found footage format, seeing his last moments. I will say it did a nice job building suspense. It's not cheap jump scares. It's not having music out of the blue popped in to rise the tension. And then you're thinking, sometimes that can work. Sometimes you're thinking, wait a minute, why is there music all of a sudden? Oh, it's a score. This is a movie. It does this effective job where the guy's not talking too much, and he sees the cabin, he sees this weird hermit-looking guy. But I will say, it feels very drawn out. I think it goes on too long. I think there's, to a point, I'm like, dude, just fucking leave. You filmed this guy enough footage. Fucking leave, run, make a run for it, something. And he has a gun, and he keeps missing. I'm like, save your fucking ammo. Have you not played any first-person shooters? Short control bursts, okay? To see the white of the hermit's eyes. Stop, it just made me pissed off. Stop wasting your fucking bullets just firing in the dark. Don't fire until he's right in front of your ass. Or he grabs your ass, pa, 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 in his fucking armpit. You know. So that got me aggravated. It's like, okay, he's got a gun and he's wasting his bullets. That pissed me off. The way it's drawn out. So I do think there's certain things. Maybe if he didn't have a gun, maybe you have a. It's not like anyone can just go buy. Well, granted you can, but you know it's a movie. You could twist some things. Or maybe if, I don't know. It's not like all these other shows and YouTubes, they go out with guns. Well, some of them do, I guess. Maybe I didn't... The way it's drawn out, and it was, some of it was effective, some of it was like, eh. It was pretty decently done, but I think there's some changes to a few things that could have gone all the way, so to speak. They've been entirely effective. But overall, I did enjoy it. I thought it was a bit weird. They kind of sequel bait the movie. Because, they talk to people about, who could that be? What kind of person would live out there? And then text shows that others are trying to search that area. One group is having information that they think they're close, and they will have footage for you in 2022. Is the guy trying to get a sequel out of this? Is he going to do a sequel out of this? I'll be curious to see it. But if it's just the same thing where they went up and they got killed as well, and it's just the same thing repeated, I don't know how that would be. I don't know. If the director ever sees it, you let me know. But I overall enjoyed it. I enjoyed the slow burn mystery, the photography, the actors. It was only an hour and 20-some minutes. And like I say, it was a mystery that slowly built and kept me interested. And even the review of what it wasn't disappointing. I'm like, okay, it wasn't like a fucking dinosaur out of the blue. Like what the fuck was that movie? Area 407? They crashed on a plane and it's fucking dinosaurs. I'm like, what the fuck? It wasn't anything like that. And like I said, there are nice moments of suspense in the third act, and it kept at a good enough pace for the most part. Like I said, overall, I did quite enjoy it. Thumbs up for me. It's for free on Tubi TV. I don't know if it has a physical release. I would not mind picking it up. Hey, director, send me a copy. No, I'm just kidding. I'd take it, but anyway, seriously, I've seen a lot of these found footage fake documentaries because I do find it a genre that's interesting. There's a lot of bad shit, and I would say 2/3 of the genre is dog shit. Whether you talk found footage, fake documentaries, most people say 100% of it's dog shit. To me, I would say 2/3 of it. Like, of this 100 films, I would say more than half is just terrible movies like The Visit, Watching, Blair Witch 2016, RWD, Creature Lake, The Zombie Diaries, Hip Hop Locos, Unaware, Bigfoot County. But you do get some. Taking Deborah Logan, Lake Mungo, The Possession of Michael Keane. Not my friend Michael Keane, this is a different Michael Keane. They're watching Chronicle, Unfriended, I didn't mind, and so forth. So, this gets in that category. So I would say if you like these kind of films, I think the ending works for what it's going for. And like I said, that fake documentary with the interviews, I think that helps break the momentum of just footage. It makes it a more interesting, mysterious story to build up on. Like I said, in the vein of The Tunnel, which I put above it, Butterfly Kisses, which I put above it, Savage Land, that kind of stuff. It's interesting to me. Interesting way of telling a story. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.